Now is left us there in Eldorado Park. It's 5 after 10 o'clock. This is Newsfeed AM. I'm Michelle Craig. Let's continue with our breaking news story this hour. 11 pupils among those killed after a truck rammed into a scholar transport vehicle near Vaal Park in the Vaal this morning. Gauteng Education MEC Matuma Chilwane is on his way to the scene of the crash. But for more, we're joined now by his spokesperson, Steve Mabona. Thanks for your time. What an incredibly heart-sore story. Week 2 of the new school year. 11 pupils killed on their way to school.
Yes, good morning and to all our viewers. It's quite sad indeed. We're starting on a bad footing. I mean, imagine just 11 learners perished on the road. Sad that the scholar transport is involved here, but we must say it's a private scholar transport that is involved. And about 5 learners, we understand that they were taken to the medical facilities. So MEC is en route to the scene just to understand on what might have transpired and interact with the parents that are there, you know.
I mean, I can't imagine sending your child to school in the morning and getting a call like this. This is not going to be, I mean, this is putting it very, very mildly, but this is not going to be an easy time for these parents, even for the MEC, who has to be the one to break this news.
Definitely. I mean, understanding that you are talking about 11 people here, you know, 11 families that need to be interacted with. It's not going to be easy. But our psycho support will always be there to assist, you know, and make sure that necessary counseling is provided. And while the families make necessary arrangements for funerals, they will be supported as we would have done so in the previous incidences. So that's why it was important that MEC actually had to rush there, leave the engagement that he was busy with in Eldorado Park this morning, which is quite also important engagement that was looking at violence and bullying. So, but then, you know, on hearing this, he had to dash and rush to the scene.
Yeah. Steve, I don't know how much of this information you have at your disposal at this point, how much of it you are able to reveal, but do we know the ages of the learners involved in this crash and the school or schools they would have been transported to?
No, currently we don't have that information. We should be in a position to provide it at a later stage. But you know that what we're not going to be releasing probably is the names, because you know there's families involved. All family members need to be informed before we even reveal the names. So we normally interact with the families to check on whether they are comfortable with us releasing that kind of information, and we should be in a position to do that. But yes, we will avail the schools and probably the grades and ages at a later stage.
Yeah. No, of course, that is not information that we are able to provide at a time like this. So, Steve, it's week 2 of the new school term, the new school year. Things did not get off to a good start in many parts of the country, but perhaps especially in Gauteng, insofar as learner placement is concerned. Where are we at now?
Look, we're still trying to finalize the process. We are at 2,700. Later, at the end of this day, we should be in a position to update the numbers because our teams have been working tirelessly. We've been engaging schools. We've been interacting with the district, management, where we are pressured, talking about Benoni, Mamelodi, where we saw new applicants on Friday, the Morningside. So those are the areas that have quite a sizable number of people, not only grade 1 and 8, I must say. We also have your inner grades that are waiting the 10-day head count so that they are accommodated at different schools. Because you might have seen that schools are referring parents to the district offices. And there's an expectation that we must then assist them. So we are doing that. collating that information so that we're in a position to assist everyone.
I mean, it brings into question, as it always does at the start of a new school year, the efficacy, and you and I have had this conversation over and over again, but the efficacy of the online system for placements. The Minister herself had some comments to make about that. What is your response yet again, Steve?
No, you need to come closer to the system and see the inner workings of it before you pronounce. And that's why I will normally caution MPLs or different political parties who will then listen to maybe unhappy parents and say, yes, we agree, and then push that narrative without coming closer to understand the system itself, on how it works, how we place, how many parents we interact with, and how we manage. So when we are commenting from far, it's easy for you to can pronounce, because you will be pronouncing ill-informed. So you need to be well-informed about the system, and then you should be in a position to say, okay, we understand how this process is managed. If I were to make an example for you, Western Cape was sitting with over 7,000 unplaced learners. They are not using a system. They are relying on schools to attend to everyone that goes there. We rely on the system. We know where we are pressured. We know if we were to intervene, what is it that we're going to be doing. We know during late applications, we anticipate a certain number of parents that will be applying, so that we accommodate. And you then have inner grades that are managed at schools. But lack of successfully managing the applications that are coming at different schools for inner grades, it's an indication that if you were to give them this responsibility with 2 administrators max, or even 1 administrator at a school level, you are creating a problem for that school. It means the over 3,000 parents that will be queuing outside the school will make the school not to be operational. There's about 1,500 that will be applying to a certain school. It means that school must manage those. So that's why we say you need to come closer to it and understand the workings of the system before you then say it doesn't work. Comparatively speaking, looking at the numbers, how many who utilize the system and they were happy. And also the understanding that each and every year we deal with different parents who would have experienced the system. And those that would have utilized the system and nothing happened, they don't see a need for them to advocate for us. We must advocate for ourselves. That's where the problem is. But when you look at the numbers, you can see that the challenge is capacity more than anything.
Certainly. So, Steve, I just want to take you and our viewers back to our breaking news story this hour. The 11 learners killed this morning in a scholar transport accident in the Vaal. A truck apparently slamming into that scholar transport vehicle, effectively a taxi, killing those 11 learners, 5 others injured and taken to hospital. What we are seeing now, Steve, is, and we've received the videos ourselves of this accident, and I imagine it's going to be making the rounds on social media. This video you can see on your screen is one of the least graphic videos around this accident that is circulating at the moment, but others would reveal certain details about the learners. You can see we are blurring this now because it does show some of the people caught up in this accident on the side of the road there. But Steve, these are the kinds of videos that will make it around on social media now.